Right, people are talking about what can United win this year. Would it be a treble? Well, join us now as a United treble winner. A very good morning to Dwight Yorke. Dwight, morning.
Morning, Yorke.
Hey, Al. How are you, Brett? Al?
All good,
Great
all
forum,
good,
mate.
Dwight. And it's much better vibes coming out of Old Trafford, Dwight.
Well, it doesn't surprise me at all because obviously Tin Han has got the boys playing the way that we expect United to play. For a number of years, we haven't been able to do that. But now we've seen a different change in attitude and the way they approach games is a lot more confident. They're playing with a lot more freeness and free-flowing type of football that's always been the United way. And, listen, obviously, and there's a lot there is going on there, and everyone seems to be buying into what we call in the modern-day game is philosophy and enjoying themselves. So, yeah, United is in a very good place, and I'm very delighted that is happening.
Yorke, tell me about forward areas. I mean, we've been speaking about it. You've obviously seen it. Rashford, he's just in fire at the moment. It's all about confidence. He now looks the player that we knew, or I know he can be. And also, Weghorst getting his first goal, which was a good finish back off the goalkeeper last night.
Yeah, listen, is it a surprise maybe to others because I've been on your program, and I'm sure if you look back at my interviews with this guy, this is one person I backed. On my observation time when I had the opportunity to go and spend some time in the back room there and seeing the setup at United. I know they were in some trouble, but in terms of an individual player and look at Rashford for me had stood out, and I'm convinced that he was the best player there for maybe a year or so. He's been and has been. Somehow it hasn't really materialized for whatever reason in the past 6 months, whatever. But certainly I would have backed him to the hill and back. And it's just so nice to see that when you know someone and you know football because you see your eyes doesn't tell you something that you don't believe. I felt that, it was just a matter of time before he turned the corner. And I'm obviously delighted. As I said, to me, it's not a surprise because I have the insight, the knowledge, watching him play and train very close up. And he was the one who was going to turn United season around for himself personally, obviously, but also for United as well. So, the confidence shows from since the World Cup. And I think he was unlucky not to be in the starting side for the World Cup. I mean, how can you score hat-tricks and do what he does? But that's another time for that debate. We're talking about United here and talking about Rashford. And I think he deserves all the credit. And it's no surprise to me, but like I said to others, that he's doing as well as he has because he's the best player in the team.
So, Dwight, what did we do when Ali and I are both sort of in agreement here? It's a difficult one. I'm talking about contracts now because he's playing out his skin. He's just loving every minute, whereas a few months ago we knew he was looking down at the ground saying, what is going on, what's happened, this is horrible. That's all changed now. Do you leave him? There's only... there's not many years left on his contract. Do you leave him, just let him get on with it, wait to the end of the season and then say, come on, you've done brilliant, son. That's the man. That's the Marcus that we knew. And you can only get better and better and better. And these goals, it's fantastic. You're enjoying it. Do you leave him to the end of the season? Because some people say, no, you've got to sign him up now.
I think that's where the management has the manager will read the body language and feel what it is. I think if I were in that position, I will have private conversation with him and see where his head is at and then keep it that way. If he says to me personally, no, Gaffer, I'm not really interested in the contract just yet, let me just carry on playing. I think that's what the management skill comes in. And obviously being in the manager position, you kind of understand that a little bit more. But that's going to be a personal thing and then go from what the feedback you're getting from the individual at the time. But in the meantime, just let him play, let him enjoy himself, give him everything he needs, give him that love and that expression that he's showing on the football pitch is the way to go. Why would you want to disrupt that with contract talks, providing that he wants to have it?
Yeah.
You've got to meet him on his terms rather than the club terms, not force him into something that he doesn't want to. And I think that's where you got to manage those situations as far as I'm concerned.
Yorke, I was going to ask you, mate, about a couple of players at United that You know, we're maybe looking for a wee bit more from. Obviously, Jadon Sancho's got to come back in. Where do you sit on Anthony at this moment in time, Yorke? Because a lot of the United supporters are maybe expecting a little bit more.
Yeah, I know, and you're talking about there's Anthony Martial and Anthony the Brazilian. So there's two. So yeah. I've got. Which one are you referring to?
I was referring to the Brazilian, Dwight.
Okay. So the Brazilian is someone that I really like. I think he's an exceptional player. He's still finding his feet. I really do think he will be a class act for us going forward. I really do. I think he gives us something. And if you look at how United are playing, they're playing with inverted wingers now. So players are coming in on their strong foot. You know, Rashford on the other side, he's coming in on his right foot. So you got inverted. So they're not really playing with the traditional wingers, which were what we call back in your days, and certainly my time as well, where you got balls are coming out to you. These balls are coming into you. They're coming in and trying to thread ball through and coming in on their favorite foot. So I like that combination. That's the way how the game has gone. I think he will excel as he finds his feet. He's not really hit the high mark that I expect him to hit, but he's one that is certainly will become good. I don't think I still think there is a lot to come from him, but he will then find that field. Right now, it's the Rashford show, and he has to take second fiddle, which I think is good for him. I think if United was struggling at the moment with that type of price tag, he will be under a little bit more scrutiny. But he's been able to dodge a bullet for a little while, so which is I'm sure he's grateful for, and the manager and the fans.
Dwight, just one final one from me. I'm just thinking, without getting too carried away, City have still got to play Arsenal. There's a big cup tie tomorrow night. Can United get themselves into a chance to win the Premier League this year, or is it too early?
I think you can't rule them out just now. I think they would have liked to be a little bit better. I think that they took a little bit of a hit with the Arsenal game, obviously. But I think deep down inside, they got to keep pushing. We know we've been there before. The league is not one that is not retrievable. It's still doable. And I think until it's still doable, they got to keep that faith and that belief and keep going, because can Arsenal really be that consistent? Well, we doubt them to this point, and they have proven us all wrong. But we all know when it comes to middle of March, April, when the real business end kicks in, the pressure is really mounting. At the moment, they're still playing that free-flowing football. No one is pressing them. I expect City and United to push really coming later on. So if I was a betting man, I wouldn't bet against City or United at the moment, closing the gap and making it very, very fascinating coming down to the end of the season.
talkSPORT Breakfast with Alan Brazil. Thursday and Friday morning, 6 till 10. On AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.